Fiber maxing. Should you hop on this trend for menopause? It seems like protein has had its day and it is taking a backseat to fiber. Protein, fats, and carbs, have they become less sexy? Now it's fiber moving in. Seriously, this trend may have some merit, but it may have some caveats too. When this popped into my Instagram messages about fiber maxing and menopause and weight, I thought I would address this trend on YouTube and apply it to menopause. Now, if you're fiber maxing and this is working for you, let me know in the comments. In fact, drop me a nice little banana emoji to signify a really nice poop. Fiber is definitely trendy, but it shouldn't be because it's essential. There's a lot of science behind fiber, and I'm going to share with you some of the benefits of having or meeting your quota of fiber in a day. But first, if you're new here, my name's Tanya. So thank you for stopping by. And if you are returning and you are a subscriber, thank you. And if you haven't liked a video or subscribed, I really would appreciate. Some of my videos are containing free resources, so just think of it as like a little thank you. The benefits of fiber are numerous and well studied, so let's go over them. Gut motility, aka the movement of poop. Gut microbiome and gut health. This is boosted by soluble and insoluble fiber. These two different types, you might want to think of them in this way. Soluble fiber is kind of like a gel. It feeds good gut bacteria. And what we're talking about is things like your chia seeds, your apples, your oats, definitely beans. Now, insoluble fiber, things that you would find in like celery and some whole grains, nuts, etc. This is kind of like that scrub brush that cleans things out of the tube and kind of scrubs your gut lining. And you need both for the benefits. Soluble is like a sponge. It helps absorb toxins as well, whereas the insoluble is kind of like your brush or your broom. Other benefits that are listed in the science, and I'm quoting the science, I'm not encouraging weight loss. I'm not here to do that, but weight loss is a benefit of having adequate fiber, and so is less cravings. There's also your metabolic health, and insulin sensitivity can be improved by having adequate fiber. Other benefits include less heart disease, less colorectal cancer, and all around less mortality and morbidity. So fiber really is a superfood. Now there's one more benefit, and that's depression. How can fiber actually help depression? When we feed our gut microbiome and develop the diversity of bacteria, we also know there is a connection to the brain. It's the gut-brain link. There's lots of research on how mood and the gut can be tied together and how gut bacteria influences the brain. I'm not saying fiber is going to cure depression. Of course, you always have to visit your licensed healthcare practitioner if you suspect a physical or a mental health problem. But there is some science behind that. What is fiber maxing? Exactly what it sounds like. It is maxing out your fiber intake or going above your fiber intake to get as much fiber in as possible. The goal is actually to exceed the daily amounts of fiber recommended for you. So the general consensus for women is about 25 grams and 30 grams for men. When you're fiber maxing, you're going upwards of 40 to 75 grams of fiber in a day. And you'll see influencers on TikTok or Instagram taking fiber supplements with their high fiber meals and snacks of the chia seeds, the oats, the apples, the veggies, the fruit, you name it. Apparently this trend started in 2023. Obviously I missed it, or did I? Because it reminds me of the volume eating idea of, I guess it's the late 90s, early 2000s, where we were all encouraged to volume eat. So you would feel full, eat less calories, and lose weight. And again, there's some science behind that. Fiber can increase your satiety. Seems like every macro has had its day. Like we've had fat and keto, we have had high protein being called the new Ozempic. I'm not saying that it is. We've also had, or have now, high fiber being called the same thing. So this all sounds great. It sounds like in menopause, maybe we should be increasing our fiber or fiber maxing because we are at risk for heart disease. Women do worry about weight. Even though I'm not a weight loss channel, I'm also realistic. Women worry about weight. So do men. We also have high cholesterol and we get cravings with hormonal changes. So maybe the fiber max trend could be a good. I always want us all to remember that these trends are never one size fit all. They need to be tailored and taken into consideration with your specific health situation and your specific needs and goals. That benefit of gut motility is bang on, unless you don't have a lot of water in your system. If you are dehydrated, you're going to be constipated. And if you add in more fiber, it's not going to go the way you expect. You might get stomach cramps, bloating, and strain on the toilet. That's right. All that fiber can clog you up. For some women, I've actually seen the opposite reaction where they can't handle all that fiber and they can't stop going to the bathroom. So, those are things to think about when you want to increase your fiber intake. And I will share with you how to do this in an easy way. Hang on, I'm getting to it. So, feeding the gut microbiome, that's awesome. But we also have to think about fiber binds. It does bind toxins, but it also binds nutrients. So while it's binding your own toxins in your gut, it's binding essential nutrients too. If you have too much fiber, you could be blocking the nutrients that your body needs. And when you think about adding supplements, well, now you're putting concentrated fiber like 3.0 in your gut, which just increases the risk of constipation and maybe lack of absorption. The weight loss and cravings, I do want to address. There are some studies that show that fiber can benefit weight loss. Of course, it makes you full. And when you're satiated, you will crave more. I don't know if you can hear my dog. Weight loss and cravings is more than just what you eat. It is genetics. It is the behavior that you're used to, your habits, your patterns. It is also the environment that you belong to every day, where you live, your work environment, the people that you are around. There's emotional components to eating and pressure with eating. There's so much that goes into weight loss and cravings that fiber isn't always the only answer. Tackling cravings actually means you need to know if you're eating enough food and getting enough nutrients to stop the cravings and make sure your body isn't actually just looking for energy. We also have health conditions like IBS or Crohn's, or maybe surgery, conditions like diverticulitis, where when you just go on a fiber max trend, you could do more harm than good. And even food sensitivities, if you don't know if you're sensitive to some foods or if you're slightly sensitive to certain foods and then you increase them in your diet, that may kick off other things in your body that may not be welcome. Truly, if you have sensitivities or any medical condition or surgery, you should be checking with your doctor or your registered dietitian to make sure that you are eating the right amount of fiber for you and your health conditions. You truly might need to approach fiber or your entire diet with caution and medical advice. If you're usually low on fiber, and many of us are, and you have no health conditions, this could be a trend that you want to adopt, but you also need to adapt. So here's how you can increase your fiber in menopause. Start with food if you can. A food forward approach is always the best. I love me a good supplement, but honestly, if we're not getting fiber in the natural foods that we eat, I don't know if supplements are always the answer. You know, they're great for convenience. If you find that with your job, you don't have the ability to get to fresh foods or heat up a meal, or you need to grab and go, then adding a fiber supplement can be absolutely helpful. It's just that we don't always want to rely on it. Foods do give us the opportunity not only to get insoluble and soluble fiber, but also other nutrients, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, etc., that maybe a pill just can't give us. Plus, that supplement could clog you up. Increase your fiber slowly and one meal at a time. If you like oatmeal, you could add chia seeds or flax seeds. If you eat salads regularly and you're fine with them, you could add chia or flax on top of your salads. I actually have a video here about fiber, and I have a free fiber cheat sheet, no email required. I give you the fiber contents of all kinds of foods so you can choose what you like and understand what you're eating. Mix your types of fiber, soluble and insoluble, and raw and cooked. For some people, too many raw veggies can be really hard on the stomach. I mentioned that I've met women who have a lot of diarrhea from raw foods. So don't be afraid to cook your foods too. And of course, make sure you drink enough water to prevent the bloating and the constipation. That might even be your first step. So there you have it on fiber maxing. If you're thinking of adopting this trend, cool, but take a moment and see if you need to adapt first. Then you're going to get all those benefits of fiber without all the bloating and worse. Thank you for stopping by, and I really hope to see you in the next video. And don't forget to check out the description for the link to my other fiber video. It is in a Back to Basics playlist with other videos about your basic health tips, but I give you a free fiber guide. I'll see you in the next video.